You know, confidence. It's something we all chase, something we're always told we need more of. But what if the way we think about it, the way we try to build it, is completely backward? Today, we're going to dig into that and explore a totally different kind of strength. Think about it. From the time we're kids in school to our last day on the job, the message is hammered home. Be confident. Act confident. It's the secret sauce for success. But the source material we're looking at today asks a pretty radical question. What if real confidence, the kind that actually lasts, isn't found in ourselves at all? Okay, so let's start with the world we're all swimming in. The source calls it a highly competitive culture, and that feels right, doesn't it? It's a world that demands we perform, and more than that we look like we have it all together. And this pressure, it's just everywhere, isn't it? In the classroom, in the office, when you're staring down a big exam, or stepping onto the field. Even just in our day-to-day lives, the message is always there, loud and clear. Be confident. But here's where it gets really tricky. We're all trying to walk this impossibly thin line, right? Be confident, but, don't be arrogant. Be self-assured, but stay humble. Encourage other people. Don't, as the source puts it, rejoice in the fumbles or falls of others. It's a really tough balancing act. And there's this famous parable that just nails this exact problem. So this brings us to a classic story from the Bible. It's basically a tale of two guys who go to pray, and each one represents a completely different, a totally opposite kind of confidence. And wow, the difference between these two could not be more extreme. You've got the Pharisee. He's a religious leader, a pillar of the community, and he's standing right up front, basically listing off his spiritual resume for God to see. And then, way in the back, you have the tax collector, and he's so ashamed he won't even lift his head. Just their body language tells you everything you need to know. Listen to what the Pharisee actually says. It starts out okay with, "God, I thank you," but then, as the source points out, it just nosedives. The prayer becomes all about him, his awesome actions, and how much better he is than that guy over there. It's a prayer of look at me.
And then you have the tax collector. His prayer, it's the polar opposite. It's short. It's simple. There's no resume, no self-promotion. It's just this incredibly powerful plea for mercy that's focused entirely on God, not on himself.
Okay, so the lesson seems pretty simple, right? Humility is good, arrogance is bad. But hold on, because the source introduces this fascinating wrinkle. A guy named the Apostle Paul, whose own words can sound, well, surprisingly confident. And that leads us to the big question here. When we hear what Paul has to say about his own life, how are we supposed to take it? Is this the same kind of arrogance we saw from the Pharisee, or is it something else entirely? Just listen to this. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. At first glance, that sounds an awful lot like the Pharisee listing off his accomplishments, doesn't it? He sounds totally sure of himself. So what is going on here? And this, right here, is the absolute heart of this whole explainer. The key, it turns out, isn't if you have confidence, but what or who you put your confidence in. It's all about the object of your trust. This is where it all clicks. Look at the Pharisee. His whole focus is on his actions, what he did. The object of his confidence is himself. Now look at Paul. He also uses the word I, but his focus is totally different. It was God's fight, God's race, and faith in God. See the difference? His confidence wasn't in himself at all. It was in his source. So once you get that distinction, it completely reframes how you think about your own strengths and weaknesses. It's not about getting rid of our needs or pretending we don't have them. It's about understanding where their real power lies. All right, this next idea might sound completely backward, but it is the central takeaway. We spend our whole lives trying to hide our needs, right? To act like we've got it all handled. We see need as a weakness. But this way of thinking argues that our need for help, for mercy, for something bigger than us, is actually our greatest asset. It's the very thing that connects us to a real source of strength. So what about all that outward arrogance, that self-pumping bluster of the Pharisee? The source has this amazing description for it. It says it's not strength at all. It's just fear disguised like a pitiful Halloween costume. Wow. It's the deep insecurity inside us trying to dress up as confidence, but it's a really flimsy costume.
Real confidence, then, looks a lot more like this. It's what Paul realized, that true strength doesn't come from our meager selves. It comes from somewhere else. It's the belief that the Lord stood by me and gave me strength. It's a trust in being rescued that has absolutely nothing to do with how well we perform today. So when it all comes down to it, this is what we're talking about. This is real confidence, not a trust in our abilities, not a trust in our goodness. It's a deep, solid confidence placed completely in a power far, far greater than ourselves. This and this only.
And that brings us all the way back around, doesn't it? Right back to the simple prayer of the tax collector. The very thing our culture might call weakness, admitting you're a mess and you need mercy, is actually the doorway to real, unshakable strength. Admitting the need is what connects you to the supply.
And the ultimate expression of this kind of confidence is that it points the spotlight completely away from us. It's a profound shift. So the final question isn't really how confident are you? The real question for you and for me is what or who are you placing your confidence in? Where is your strength actually coming from?